We have Ursula, Assistant City Manager, will say the invocation, and I would like Council Member John O'Neill do the pledge. Thank you.
Everyone, please stand and prepare yourselves according to your faith. Dear Lord, as we gather here today, may we be guided by a spirit of unity and understanding. May we engage in respectful and fruitful discussions, embracing our differences and working towards our shared goals. And may our shared purpose guide our discussions, and may our collective efforts lead to impactful and transformative outcomes. Amen.
Thank you. If you would help join me in a pledge of allegiance, if you could remove your caps for me and help us pledge our allegiance to the greatest symbol of freedom in the world. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, we reset to the City Council meeting, and we're going to pass to Chair Kim Win Penolosa to convey the Housing Authority meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. May I please get a roll call?
Member Breitigam?
Here.
Member Tran?
Here.
I'm sorry. Commissioner, I'm sorry. Commissioner Jones? I'm sorry. I'm senior moment.
Start all over.
Senior moment. Okay. Sorry. I've got 3 people in a row who are completely absent from the roll call. Commissioner Klopfenstein.
I am here.
Commissioner Tanwin.
Here.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Here.
Commissioner Tran.
Here.
Vice Chair Breitigam.
Here.
And Chair Win Penolosa.
Here.
And Commissioner Beckles, Commissioner Dovin, and Commissioner Jones are all absent this evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to make public comment during the Housing Authority meeting? Seeing none, I'll move right along. We have 2 items for consent.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Motion received, that's 4.
Well, he doesn't have a device.
Okay. Oh, correct. Sorry, another senior moment. Okay. This is an oral roll call, sorry. Commissioner Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Commissioner Tanwin.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Yes.
Commissioner Tran.
Yes.
Vice Chair Breitigam.
Yes.
Chair Win Penolosa.
Yes.
Motion received. That would be 5 yes votes. 6 yes votes, sorry.
Thank you very much. And are there any matters from commissioners? Seeing none, I'll adjourn the meeting and turn it over back to Mayor Pro Tem for City Council.
Thank you. So tonight we are pleased to recognize the Pacifica High School softball team with a community spotlight. So City Clerk, please read the title.
Tonight's community spotlight is in recognition of Pacific High School softball team for winning the CIF Southern Division 1 championship, and Ms. Luna Reynosa will read the community spotlight tonight.
This evening, the Garden Grove City Council is pleased to recognize Pacifica High School softball team for winning the CIF Southern Section Division I championship. With the Pacifica High School softball team and coaches Tony Arduino, Joseph Alvarez, Ryan Dickinson, Neil Lockett, Randy Frasman, Brian Cleek, and Mariah Sandoval, please come forward.
Where do we go?
For 5 years, Tony...
Should get the girls up there, too.
Yeah, come on up, girls. For 5 years, Tony Arduino has been coaching the Pacifica High School softball team and was recently named the 2024 All-CIF Southern Section Championship Coach of the Year. At the start of the season, the Mariners were ranked as the #1 high school softball team in Orange County, California, and the United States. Expectations were at an all-time high, but the team faced the additional pressure by blocking out the noise and remaining focused, said Coach Tony Arduino. The Mariners finished the Empire League with a perfect 10-win record and ended the overall season with 27 wins and 2 losses. Recently, they won the CIF Southern Section Division I championship against Orange Lutheran High School, 3-0.
Wow.
With this win under their belt, the Mariners sealed their Orange County record 9th section title and made Pacifica High School history by winning the first back-to-back CIF Southern Section Division I championship. The road to becoming CIF champions was not easy. Still, the team persevered and received many accolades along the way, including winning the 28th annual Dave Kopp's Tournament of Champions in Bullhead City, Arizona, and being named the 2024 California State Softball Team of the Year by Cal High Sports. As Coach Tony Adrino reflects on the season, he says, "I would like to thank all the players, coaches, parents, maintenance staff, administration, and community for their support all season. Champions are a team effort, and there's no way Pacifica is back-to-back CIF champions without everyone pulling in the same direction with the same goal." At this time, the Mayor and City Council would like to present the Pacifica High School softball team and coaches with certificates for winning the CIF Southern Section Division I championship. Congratulations. We wish all of them the very best in their future athletic endeavors.
Is that one camera?
One looking over here. No, just, yeah. Sorry, one. 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, we'll do it right here. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Okay.
Probably have a different person's name on it. All right. This switch. One more over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Thank you. Got it? What's that? Oh.
No, don't leave yet.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
I know.
Oh, they don't want people from one.
Yeah, we want a three-peat.
Go off to college.
Thank you so much. Next one, we have the Garden Grove Police Department have teamed up with the Orange County Fire Department to provide an update.
Mayor Pro Tem and council members, good evening. I have Lieutenant Charlie Loeffler who will provide our deployment efforts for this upcoming 4th of July.
Thank you.
Greetings. As we know, 4th of July is rapidly approaching. So without further ado, for the deployment, I'm just going to go through the slides and kind of explain what we've done so far this year, preparing for the deployment. First of all, we're monitoring various websites for the sales of illegal fireworks. As of now, I know our Special Investigations Unit and our Gang Suppression Unit has already brought in thousands of fireworks through undercover operations and also through search warrants. The pictures weren't as exciting as this one. They were boxed up in crates, so you really, I believe the bomb squad came out and grabbed those, so we really didn't screw with those. So continuing here. For our deployment this year and for the city of Garden Grove, there are 30 fireworks stands. They have all been approved for fireworks sales between July 1st and July 4th. OCFA personnel will be conducting inspections on July 1st between 10 and 2 p.m. As years past, block parties are still being approved for the 4th. I believe we have a total of 14 of them this year. Each block party will be inspected on July 4th to ensure the compliance and will be monitored throughout the evening. Block party permits cost $136.50. And this cost covers the administrative cost for the permit and the cost for 2 police officers to inspect each permitted block party to ensure safety and compliance. This year's deployment, we have 2 sergeants, 28 officers, 2 community officers, and yours truly, 1 lieutenant. This is a little bit about the laws related to illegal fireworks, and the discharge of safe and sane fireworks are permitted on July 4th between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. As you may know, discharging and possession of illegal fireworks, which would be like the mortars, M80s, and such, will result in a $1,000 citation, administrative citation. Use of illegal fireworks, and you will get a citation or multiple, depending on the situation. A little bit about fireworks. Do not discharge fireworks in city parks or open spaces. The city parks are closing at 5 p.m., and as the years pass, they run the sprinklers to ensure that the parks don't catch on fire if we get one that gets wayward on us. So this year, we've done press releases, websites. They're continuing all the way up through the 4th. You're going to see these on the website, through social media, through the police department and OCFA. We've given information about animal care. This phone number is still the hotline if you want to report a firework-related incident or a tip. Out in the public, we put up park banners, over the street banners, digital signboard, social media, Garden Grove Channel 3, press release, water bill, flyer at the fireworks stands of various community accessible locations. And we have an addition this year. I'll get into that later. Additional things that we did. These are a little bit, this is what the banners and flyers and fireworks and stuff look like. That's the water bill, where the little message about the fireworks on there. Here's our flyer that typically goes out. This is the one that we sent out this year. General safety tips. Some of these are no-brainers, but do not light any fireworks near combustible vegetation. Soak all discharged fireworks in a bucket prior to disposing. Keep trash cans away from combustible structures. This year we have we've received some complaints over the years about projectiles, which includes water balloons. We want people to have fun, and water balloons including. However, unfortunately, there's been incidents where people that don't want to be involved in the water balloons and or unsuspecting victims, we'll call them, people have been getting hurt, basically, that uninvolved victims that don't know the water balloons are being thrown in their direction. We've taken several measures to ensure the safety of its residents as it relates to unwanted projectile water balloons. The following mailer, after this slide was sent out via social media to social media sites over the past weekend, our entire Explorer post went out to several areas within the city, including West Garden Grove, targeted areas, with over 700 flyers, door-to-door knocking and educating the public on both illegal fireworks and how even water balloons can become illegal projectiles if they're being thrown at unintended victims. Additional police officers on that list in our deployment, 4 officers in marked units will be dedicated specifically for high visibility and to deal with issues as they relate to projectiles being thrown, any projectile. Here's a flyer that we passed out over the weekend, and also that's going to be continuing through social media through the 4th of July. And this is a new flyer for this year. Any questions? And please feel free to reach out to me prior to the 4th of July. I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you or anybody in the public wish to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll just reiterate real quick, Lieutenant Lothar, what he said. This has been our most robust messaging campaign that we've done in recent years. So we've certainly gotten out the message to our community. We know we're a very patriotic community here in Garden Grove, but we want them to have fun in a safe, respectful manner to their neighbors, to people who are visiting our community, because we don't want any mishaps. And that's what we really need the neighbors to get out to each other. I will tell you, I know we said we had 28 officers. Those are officers specifically assigned to the fireworks detail. When you take the totality of all the officers deployed that day, we have well over 100 officers working on the 4th of July in our city, just so you're aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you,
Can I
Chief.
make one quick comment?
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you and everyone that's working that day, OCFA members and the Garden Grove Police Department, those people that gave up, somebody has to work. So we appreciate them being out there and giving up their day with their family. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you again. I know you guys have really stepped forward, PD this year. A lot of those complaints from the water balloons come from my district, and we've had some tragedies in past years because of the water balloons, and quite frankly, it's made it where it's less fun for people to don't even want to participate in anything anymore because they're afraid they're going to get pelted with water balloons. I know we had an old guy sent, I think he was in his 70s on a bike that got sent to the hospital because he was pelted with water balloons against his will. He was just trying to, right. And people with golf carts getting pelted with water balloons and this kind of thing. So thank you for stepping up in that messaging component that you guys have been doing. So I know the community's been really kind of hollering at me to make sure that gets out, and I kind of push it down, but really thank you guys for all your hard work.
Absolutely.
Also, just thank you again for the robust hate messaging campaign, and I also really appreciate that you've been able to just bring awareness about the animals. We all know that that's such a big issue on the 4th of July, and making sure that they're tagged and microchipped and that there's the safety precautions in place, so thank you for that as well.
Just wanted to say thank you very much. Again, very grateful. Ditto on the pets. I have a dog who hates fireworks, who will be under the bed, in the bathroom, in the bathtub, or whatever, clawing at the door, trying to escape the scary noises. So I hate the 4th of July as a result of that, because then I can't go anywhere and do anything. I have to lock down and make really loud noise to kind of circumvent the fireworks. And they're already started, right? I feel like they start earlier and earlier every year now, and it just sounds like bombs are going off everywhere. But I just also want to highlight really great job on the social media. I've heard kudos from other agencies and other electeds as well. In particular, messaging around how it could affect PTSD for other military service officers, or et cetera. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the council already mentioned that, but I also want to say thank you and thank to the officer that gave up their time and be there just to make sure that we have a safe July 4th. So thank you. Okay. So the next part is the oral communication. I have only one call here, so Leland 6, please come up.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and this awesome city staff. That's on. In April of this year, I addressed this body about the increased speed limit on 9th Street between Orangewood and Chapman. The speed limit was increased from 35 to 40 miles per hour, all right? I related that this city's traffic engineer told me that increasing the speed limit was required since the 85th percentile of traffic on 9th Street exceeded the posted speed limit. I found that justification to be lacking. Last week, I came across an article published on a website, www.voiceofoc.org. If you've never heard of it, you should read it sometime. This article revealed that Assembly Bill 43, passed in 2021, gives cities more control over the speed at which motorists can drive. And based on Assembly Bill 43, the city of Anaheim commissioned a traffic survey for that city. Because of that survey, Anaheim is lowering the speed limit on 169 segments of roadway between 5 to 15 miles per hour. 158 streets will remain unchanged, and no street will see a speed increase. This article also had a link to a list of streets and where these changes are being made. You might want to look at it. It should be noted that on those portions of Orangewood Avenue between Euclid and Harbor, that are within the city limits of Anaheim, the speed limit will be lowered from 35 to 30. That portion of 9th Street in Anaheim, north of Orangewood, will remain at 35, but when you cross Orangewood, that speed limit is 30 until you get the portion of 9th Street in Garden Grove, then it jumps up to 40. Ridiculous. Per Mr. Cobain, traffic engineer for the city of Anaheim, quote, transportation experts today widely reject the notion that the 85th percentile is the safest speed. Additionally, studies have shown that there is a direct correlation between the speed of a vehicle and the severity of a collision, end quote. So, with the changes that are now being implemented in Anaheim, how does the speed limit increase on 9th Street look in retrospect? In my humble opinion, it looks just as dangerous and just as ridiculous as it always did. Lower the speed limit. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else would like to address the council? Okay. No one else here. So follow the oral communication. We're going to reset the city council meeting and hand off to Vice Chair John O'Neill to convene the successor agency meeting.
Okay. Successor agency. Let me go ahead and I'd like to call the Garden Grove City Successor Agency to order. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Member Bridegan.
Here.
Member Tran.
Here.
Member Klopfenstein.
Here.
Member Wynn Penaloza.
Here.
And Vice Chair O'Neill.
Here.
And Member Dovin and Chair Jones are absent tonight.
Thank you. We've already held oral communications simultaneously with other bodies. All we have tonight is a consent calendar for receive and file the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion? And a second. Please call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters from successor agency members? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn till the next meeting, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024 in this room. And I think we're going to go right over to Sanitary District, which I'll go ahead and take care of that too.
Thank you.
If we could please call the roll for the Garden Grove Sanitary District Board of Directors.
Member Bridegan.
Here.
Member Klopfenstein.
Here.
Member Wynn Penaloza.
Here.
Vice President Tran.
Here.
President O'Neill.
Here.
And Member Dovin and Member Jones are absent tonight.
Thank you very much. We've already held oral communications simultaneously with other bodies. We do have one item for receive and file the minutes for on the consent calendar. Can I get a motion on that?
Minutes.
Okay, I've got a motion to move the consent. Do I have a second? Okay, a second. Please call for the vote. Thanks.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, we do have one item for consideration tonight. This is, I'll let the clerk or the read the matter.
This is adoption of a resolution to authorize the imposition of liens on parcels with delinquent payments for refuse collection and disposal service charges. And Ms. Song is here to give that report.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Good evening, Mr. President and the members of the board. This item is continued from our last board meeting when we conducted a public hearing to initiate a lien imposition process on properties with delinquent trash service payments. And tonight I have 4 representatives from Republic Services here to answer any questions you may have or any questions from the public. So during last board meeting, you have asked us to research on parcels with multiple year delinquencies and if those property owners were properly notified in prior years. We have since discussed this with Republic Services and identified that there were some reporting issues that caused the parcels missing from prior year's list, and some property owners were not notified until this year. So to provide all property owners with the same fair treatment, and due to the time constraint that we're facing to submit our records to the county this year, Republic Services has agreed to remove all liens that are over 1 year old from this current list that is in front of you tonight. So right now, you're looking at a revised parcel list with delinquent amounts for just fiscal year 23-24. Republic Services will further investigate the older balances and decide the best approach to recover the service charges. If the delinquent amounts are caused by property owners, Republic will attempt to collect those during the year, and if they remain unpaid around this time next year, it could be filed with the county. as a lien. And if the delinquent amounts were caused by non-owner occupants and the service recipients are no longer residing in the property, Republic Services will use collection agency to recover the funds, and the aged delinquent amounts will not reappear on next year's lien list, and it would not become a burden of the property owners. So per state statutes, we will need 5 affirmative votes from you tonight in order to send the list to the county and to put it on the property tax roll for collection for fiscal year 23-24 delinquencies. And with that, I like to ask you to take some actions and authorize us to proceed with this
Right.
action.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone's patience and all the work that's been done in the last 2 weeks to get to this point. I think everything has been addressed. But at this time, I'll go to my colleagues. Any other questions regarding the staff report or any comments before we entertain a motion? Yeah.
I do have a comment. Traditionally, this comes up every year, and we kind of have the similar issues every year. Public will utilize this board as the sounding board for people, and they send a letter and they say, go to the council meeting and if you got an issue. But reality is all these people can do is come in at public comments and say they disagree with it, and there's nothing we can do to interact with them. So I really think that's a poorly thought out system. We brought this up in previous years. I know when I first got elected, I think Councilwoman Kim Wynn Penaloza brought it up too. It doesn't seem like a very equitable way to do things. So quite frankly, I think we need to rethink how that's done. And that letter that goes out to people saying we're going to put a lien on your house and this and that. And then I was really disappointed that nobody from Republic was here. So they send out a letter from Republic on behalf of the city saying, come to the city council meeting if you have any problems, but then nobody from Republic is here for them to talk to. We had 3 or 4 people come to the comments. I actually turned one guy away, unfortunately. He came in and I told him it's just a city council meeting. There's nothing that other than, public comments. And so he left. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to leave his name, and so I don't know if he was able to get that resolved. So I think we really need to rethink this system. Maybe a meeting with Republic personnel should be the first contact where they can interact with them and say, hey, our records show this, and they can resolve 99% of the issues before they come here to the council to complain, or some kind of system like that. But this current system, it's been going on too long and it's dysfunctional and it's not fair. So I really think Republic and the city staff need to get together and come up with a better way of, a better mousetrap. So with that being said, I'm glad that they were able to resolve a lot of this issue, especially the old ones that, 3 years people didn't even know that they owed money. And so I will support it now that it's been remedied, but this, we need to fix this system. It's a broken system. It needs to be fixed. And with that, I'll make the motion.
A motion. Other comments or a second? Yeah.
I'll make the second, but I also have a few comments. First, I want to thank Republic Services for coming in full force tonight. Although we would have preferred it the other meeting, thank you for coming and thank you for putting in the work to find solutions to the issues that were brought up. I think when we went through the exercise of going through reviewing the contract and awarding you the contract again after so many years, I think one of the main things that I kept bringing up was auditing, making sure we have metrics and tying back to those and making sure that where there are gaps, where there are mistakes, that we are fixing them. And I think this is one prime example of a case in which you just did that. So I do want to thank you. I know not everything's going to be perfect. Mistakes are going to happen. Sometimes they're going to be big and glaring. Sometimes it's going to be small. But anytime we've brought up an issue that we've had with our public services, you guys have been really quick to find a solution. So I want to thank you for that as well. I think we get frustrated because individuals come here and get mad at us, and we're just the mediator of a situation we have no control over. So it gets frustrating for us because it happens every single year. This year was, out of the 8 years we've been doing this, I think this was the first time we've had people come that didn't get anything for 3 years and all of a sudden received that they were delinquent. So that was a big shocker. But now you know that's a problem. Hopefully, whatever you put in place will allow for that to not happen again. I know that I had asked a question at the last meeting to see if the folks that came last night had been on our list previous years, and that was not the case. And I think that that's being figured out on your guys' end. At some point, if we could get a up-to-date or a status update on how you guys are resolving that for future meetings, that way we know what to look out for on our end as well, because I think our staff is just as surprised when we get comments like that. We're not expecting it. But otherwise, I just want to say thank you for working with our staff and working to find solutions for those glaring issues.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'll just say to final up, we do have a motion in a second. It comes up every year. It is a difficult situation, but the reason it's set up this way, it's a public health and safety risk to not have the trash picked up. So that's why it's set up this way. So I just encourage everybody to make sure that they pay their bills. And if they have any complications with that, please contact Republic about paying your bill on time. If you're a landlord, I would consider building that into my rent and taking that bill upon myself when there's a possible lien against my property, which you would ultimately be responsible for. So, maybe you build that into the rent so you're not relying on a tenant that may not pay it, and then you end up with a lien on your property. But with that said, we have a motion and a second. Comment. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just one quick comment. So just want to say thank you for working with our staff and come up with the solution that kind of makes sense. And so that is something that, of course, I did not like the fact that, like Councilmember George already mentioned, that you just rely on us to do the work that you were supposed to be here to talk to the resident. And so by that in the past, I just want to say that thank you for working with us, and hopefully the people out there see the solution and see, what we try to accomplish here. So that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. One more comment?
Sorry, before we move on, I just want to, should we see if they want to make any comments? They came out this way.
Yeah.
And we were all talking about solutions that I don't think were shared with the public, so I don't know if they have prepared remarks to make. Don't worry about it, I'm just saying.
We can move forward. Brought our operations team here too. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming out. We all understand where we're at now, and I think next year will be much better. So thank you for your continued work, especially on the route changes and everything you guys have done. It's really stepped up. I've seen the improvement on, even though it was a little changing some routes around, people were their times changed. So I had neighbors and people that would bring out their cans in the morning, and then they realized the truck didn't come exactly at the same time because they changed the route around. But then I explained to them, they're just going through a change. So we appreciate everything you're doing there. We do have a motion and a second. If there's no other comment, I'll call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters from board members? Okay, seeing none, we'll adjourn till the next scheduled meeting for Tuesday. The screen just changed on me.
Oh, sorry.
That's
July
okay.
23rd.
What was it? July what?
July 23rd.
July 23rd. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. At that time, we're done with sanitary. We'll go ahead and pass that back over to City Council.
Okay, so the next part will be the consent item. So does anyone like to pull any item from the consent calendar?
I'll move it.
Second.
Yay. Yes.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay. Now we go to item number 14 for consideration. Madam Clerk, would you please read the title for item 14?
Item 14 is award contracts and authorize the issuance of purchase orders for asphalt products as needed to All American Asphalt, Calmat Company, doing business as Vulcan Materials Company, Western Division, and RJ Noble Company. And Mr. Kim is here tonight to give that report.
Thank you, Ms. Pomeroy. Mr. Mayor and members of City Council, tonight City Council is being asked to award contracts to All American Asphalt, Vulcan Material Company, and RJ Noble Company to purchase asphalt products for will call and delivery on as-needed basis. The city has a continual and growing need for asphalt and related supplies to be delivered to various job sites throughout the city for ongoing street improvements. It is common for projects to overlap in timelines that could cause a delay when the city's contracted vendor has a full or conflicted schedule. The delay could become costly due to the time and risk associated with quoting individual jobs to vendors. Therefore, it is necessary for the city to contract with multiple asphalt providers to avoid delays. Based on past experiences, it is also necessary to have the asphalt providers to be in close proximity to provide reliable hot mix asphalt at the required temperature to improve cost efficiency during the street project. 3 asphalt providers were selected and will be used on an as-needed basis. The invitation for bids was issued on April 17th, 2024, and 3 bids were received and opened on May 16th, 2024. All 3 bids were found to be responsive. The contract amounts were ranked by the lowest to highest bidder for asphalt products per ton, including the contractor's ability to meet the city's needs and guarantee pricing for 1-year period of the contract. The bid results are shown in the attached bid tabulation report. Annual spending among the 3 contracts will not exceed $900,000. Actual vendors will be selected based on availability, with the lower cost vendor be the first choice. Funding is included in the Public Works Street Division Fiscal Year 2024-25 amended operating budget. It is recommended that City Council award 1-year contracts to All American Asphalt in the amount of $400,000, Falcon Material Companies in the amount of $400,000, and RJ Noble Companies in the amount of $100,000 to provide asphalt products for will call and delivery on an as-needed basis, and also authorize the city manager to execute the contracts on behalf of the city and to make a minor contract modification as needed. This concludes the staff report, and staff is here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any question?
Questions? I'll move it.
Can I call for the vote, please?
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Item number 15. Madam Clerk, would you please read the title for item 15?
Item number 15 is the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2955, which is entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove establishing the amount of money for paramedic services that must be raised by an ad valorem tax override and the setting of the tax rate of said override.
This is second reading, so we're just gonna call for the vote, right?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move it.
Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Item number 16. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title for item 16?
Item number 16 is a crime prevention presentation as requested by City Manager Kim. I believe the chief is here to give that overview.
Good evening. All right. Clicked away my PowerPoint. Okay, good evening. First, I'd like to acknowledge our Community Liaison Division who developed this PowerPoint for us tonight. What you'll see is we've been, this is a philosophy from the problem-oriented policing. It's called the crime triangle. And the idea behind it is you have the 3 sides of the triangle: the offender, the place, the target, the victim. If you can remove one of those, then you've succeeded, because then crime won't exist. So that is kind of the philosophy we use, but we utilize that under SARA project. And you may have heard that acronym, and SARA stands for Scanning, Analysis, Response, and Assessment. So right now we have 2 SARA projects active in our city: the Chapman and Gilbert area and Harbor and Trask. And if you look up on your screen, you'll see the problems that have been occurring in those areas. We've had officers within our departments, various units, also working with various city entities, targeting those areas and having kind of a no tolerance approach. I will tell you, I went up to Chapman and Gilbert myself today. We've painted out the graffiti in that area. Over the last 10 days, we've made 23 arrests from various low-level arrests, from possession of narcotics, possession of paraphernalia, trespassing, warrants, and the same over at Harbor and Trask. We've made 14 arrests over the last 10 days. So we've been very proactive. Also working with code enforcement in the area of Chapman and Gilbert to have some of those dilapidated businesses kind of get up to code. And I know also, you know, when we think long-term and we're talking about that's when we get our community development team, and I know they're working on trying to get new ideas to revitalize the area, and that will certainly make an impact. It kind of goes along with that broken windows philosophy. So there's a lot of effort going on. We focus on those areas for about 30 days. We capture all the data, we look at it, we reassess at the end of it, and if we need to continue enforcement, we will. If not, we just keep that data for future use if the problem reoccurs. But I think slowly we're seeing a positive impact in both those areas. We want to talk to you guys about catalytic converter thefts. I know Councilmember Brettigam actually did a community event where he had individuals from our community have the ability to have their VIN numbers engraved on the catalytic converters. Some members came out, but that is one of the avenues we suggest because it helps us when we go to these body shops. There are task force out there that go to the body shops and look at these catalytic converters to see if they were stolen. You can add a metal covering plate to the catalytic converter theft, obviously car alarms, and then we always talk about environmental design where you park your car, you know, not in a dark, poorly lit alley, but obviously on a street where there's some street lights or in your driveway with a well-lighted area. So that's some general ideas for our community on catalytic converters. They threw in the computer phishing scams because unfortunately this does happen. We get a lot of people coming to our front desk saying they became victims of this. So we just want to remind the public to, you know, to be a little bit cynical, to be quite frank, right? If it makes you nervous, delete the email or hang up the phone and call directly to your credit card company or your bank. Never give out your full social security number over the phone. Never give out your PIN over the phone unless you're the one who's made the call and confirmed that you're actually dealing with an agent of the corporation that you need to talk to. So we just want everyone to be aware. Unfortunately, these criminals, they target elderly people a lot. And you know, there are safeguards in place with the financial institutions of our community, but we still need to be diligent and remind them to protect themselves at all times. Hidden cameras, this made the news locally. One of our community members was a victim of this. It's a new trend from criminals. They come up with these little cameras, they put them in the bushes, and then they monitor what that resident is doing. So they can kind of develop a plan of attack, if you will, to burglarize the home. If they see a method that, you know, a time of day where the victim is constantly gone, and they target that. So really this comes down to environmental design and just being diligent in your own home, right? Keep shrubbery trimmed back. Lighting is one of the best things. You should do a sweep of your yard. I hate to say it nowadays. We have to be more diligent now than ever. If you see people in your neighborhood that don't belong, we want you to call us. I know sometimes people say I didn't want to bother the police, but you're not bothering us. That's our job. We want to come out there. We want to identify them. We get field information cards on them, and it helps with future investigations. And then these are just the 5 basic principles of environmental design: the natural access control, surveillance, cameras. You got the Ring camera, which is very good. Lots of great stuff. You can go to your local Costco and get some surveillance cameras for a reasonable price. They talk about territorial enforcement, maintenance of your yard, and then just neighbors looking out for each other, because that's what it comes down to. Neighbors need to look out for each other. Tell your neighbor if you're going on vacation. And even here at the PD, we have our volunteers in policing that will do vacation checks if you do go on vacation, and will monitor your home for you while you're away. So those are just some basic things on crime prevention techniques and some of our efforts on those problem areas in our city, and I'm open to any questions if you should have any.
Thank you, Chief. Does anyone? Go ahead, Kim.
Thanks, Chief. I really appreciate it, City Manager Kim, for bringing this forward. I know that I had a lot of concerns at one of our previous meetings and thought that this would be a good idea. And I'd love to add more work to your plate and have a suggestion. For those slides that you had, if you could convert them into images for social media to post, you know, like tips for specifically for the hidden cameras, you know, tips specifically for catalytic converters, and then I can't remember the other one, but just so that like we have something we can, you know, disperse amongst our network and our social media pages so residents can take a look at that. I think I had a couple people message me about the hidden camera when it was on the news. So I think just now that it's out there, we want to make sure our residents are aware. And just tips for general safety, as you mentioned, like maybe think about parking somewhere where there's lighting, check your surroundings. One of the big ones that I've been hearing a lot too, among concern mostly around my female friends, is a lot of videos on social media circulating about being careful where you park, and like if there's a van parked next to you, and if you find something on your car, like don't even get in your car, go somewhere else. So if there's tips and tricks for that, I think that would be extremely helpful. And lastly, Harbor and Trask, as everybody knows, is the bane of my existence for the last several years. And it's not just isolated to that specific area, although I know that we did have a dentist office come and speak specifically to that. But it's the Motel 6. It's now the car wash and that empty lot behind the car wash. It is all of the Caltrans freeway entrances and exits. The Denny's area, the vacant Love property that's been vacant for as long as I can remember. I mean, all of these little areas specifically around that intersection are recipes for disaster. And so whatever we can do just to make sure, the fact, I think I've texted you before where I've seen someone what I believe to be doing drugs, like right in broad daylight on the corner of the intersection. And it's just like kids are walking by, going and coming from school or sport activities. And it's really disappointing to see. And then the increase of graffiti all along Clinton, by the liquor store, Enterprise, where I've complained multiple times, but also still that Haster-Chapman area between my district and Councilmember Stephanie Kloffenstein's district is still a pain in the butt, as well as where that Vaughn's, that pavilion where Vaughn's is located off of Haster and Chapman as well. So there's a lot of little hot spots, and I know that I've spoken to other officers regarding gang activity in that area, and I know that my district, to the top, borders, my entire district borders Anaheim, Orange, and Santa Ana, so kind of just embedded by all the other cities, and things come in, things come out, and so it's kind of hectic when you're getting calls from top to the bottom, and it's several different cities impacting ours as well. Not that ours doesn't impact others, but whatever can be done. I know that you guys are doing that effort right now specifically for that location on Harbor and Trask and Chapman and Gilbert. So I appreciate you listening to our constituents and to our various complaints. Thank you for all the hard work.
Anyone else?
Real quick, I wanted to say personally thank you, Chief, for concentrating on these areas, like in Councilmember Wayne Penalosa's area, and then especially the Chapman and Gilbert. We heard the constituents, and we moved on it. So we're still moving on it. And I appreciate all the work you guys have done, because I hear about it every day from people that live over there, and also the city manager and the staff and everyone that's helped with that. And we'll just keep working on it. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Councilmember.
Thank you very much, Chief, for the presentation. I think it's important for the community to be able to see the work that's being done, and to see it in front of them with the slideshow is very, very helpful. One thing that I think comes to mind as well is it's important for the residents to see the synergy and the teamwork that it takes between all these different departments working collectively and collaboratively to find solutions. So I think that's an important message to get out to the public as well. We appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much, because that actually right the corner where I live. Every time people ask me where do I live, I said right the corner of Chapman and Gilbert, and that's now people recognize with graffiti and empty building. So it keeps getting worse. I receive many email and phone call from the resident asking what can we do. And I know that last council meeting I mentioned that a nurse actually went in that area and tried to pick up trash and did what she could. But thank you for taking proactive action to do something about it. And when you have activity doing something about it, I would love to tag along and just see the work that you guys do, but also want to see what can we do to help. So thank you. I think that's it. We're just gonna call.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'd just be echoing what you guys said, so.
Call for the vote, please. Yeah. Oh, no vote? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Thanks, Chief. Sorry. Okay, so I guess we're just going to go around the room. Councilmember William?
Well, first and foremost, 4th of July is coming. I got my 4th of July tie on here. Have a safe happy 4th of July. Enjoy the festivities, enjoy your families, but be safe. Be safe. Use some common sense. We talked a little bit about swimming pool safety and especially with small kids and stuff at the last meeting. Just remember, if you're going to be having a party and drinking, somebody needs to be sober and watching that pool. So have a safe 4th of July. We had one speaker tonight. It's a record. I think we only had one speaker, Mr. Leland, and he's still here. He talked about 9th Street and the speed limit, and quite frankly, I kind of agree with him. For years, working with LAPD, we would have to go out, we'd send the motors out, and we'd do assessments on these streets, and you have to reevaluate them every, I think it was every 2 years at the time, and that 85% rule came into play. And that was a state law that kind of guided you on the police departments on where that needed to be. I was not aware of this new law that that pretty much negates that and gives the cities a little more a little more discretion, I guess. And honestly, maybe that street is a little fast at that speed limit. So I'm hopeful that staff can reach out and relook at that. I don't know if our staff was even aware, and I don't even know if that actually is a new law.
We are aware, but it's not discretionary. You do have to commission a traffic study and justify the reduction. So
But
we
we didn't have to justify the increase.
Yes, the increase was required because it was speed trap. It was to prevent speed traps, right? And so in order to change the speed limit, in order to be able to write citations, police officer being able to write citations for speeding, we had to have a 5-year study to show that the streets were at the 85th percentile. Otherwise, the law said it was a speed trap, and then all those citations would be dismissed by the court.
Right. Okay.
That's why we had the 85th percentile, so that our police officers, traffic officers can enforce the speed limit.
But at the same
so in
time-
order to change, according to the new law, we do need that study, and staff was looking at the areas where the study, it is not free. We have to hire consultants to do that. And so
Can we use the 5 years previous of data that we have, or do we have to start fresh with this new 85%?
we have to start fresh because the old data is based on the 85th percentile, not on the
So it's
safe.
going to take at least 5 years to do this, is what you're telling me.
Not necessarily. I think in the next budget cycle, you can direct staff to set aside some money. The council can approve money to do these studies. Yes.
Okay. Well, when that time comes around, I'm hopeful that it'll be a check marker on the box. You can remind us that because quite frankly, I think that is a little fast for that. And you do have single-family homes right there, and people speeding by. I know this is, I think it's, isn't that your?
It's between ours.
Okay, so it's right on the
Two's
border
on one
there.
side and four's on the
Okay,
other.
so you guys probably are going to deal with it more than I will, but I think that probably is a little fast, in my opinion, and I think maybe we should take the public comment to heart and kind of look at that a little better. And with that being said, that's all I have. Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Thank you.
And I'll just echo, please have a safe 4th of July. I'll add, George brought up the swimming pool issue, which is a big deal. Make sure you have a lifeguard there or somebody watching the pool. Also, if you're going to be drinking, partaking, and if you're going to be driving, don't drive. Get an Uber or have someone else drive. It's not worth it. There will be extra patrols for DUI checks. It's not worth it. And, it's just not worth it. So enjoy your 4th of July. And another thing I wanted to add on the crime report and the chief, one thing I wanted to add, because this happened to my daughter a while back. If you're at a gas station these days, all right, the times have changed. If you're at a gas station at night or maybe any time of the day, get out, maybe pump your gas, get in your car, lock your door, or take your keys with you. Even if you're standing outside the car, put the keys in your pocket. Don't leave them in the ignition in your car, because somebody can just jump in your car and go. If their keys are in your pocket, they're not going to be able to do that, and maybe you can run away the other direction. Don't try to confront them, just run away and go into the store. But anyway, that happened to my daughter at around midnight at an AM PM, and luckily she was cognizant enough. Instead of pumping her gas, when she got out of the car, she saw different people approaching from different angles. She got back in the car and drove away. thank God. So anyway, keep those things in your mind. Thank you. Have a great 4th.
Thank you. Councilmember Coffinson.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe 4th of July. I want to just remind people to dump and drain their standing water, my vector message that I give constantly, but it bears repeating. The weather's heating up. It's kind of humid out. Mosquitoes are loving this weather and this time of year, so dump and drain. It's very simple, but it's very effective, and it's an appropriate outreach message for this time of year. We, unfortunately, in Garden Grove get hit with typhus more regularly than other cities. So please be mindful. Try to get some flea and tick medication for dogs, cats. We have a lot of animals, raccoons and possums and different creatures in our yards, and they carry infected fleas, which then land on our cats, which then come inside and potentially bite us, and on goes the problem. So just things to be mindful of, especially as the weather heats up. The bugs love the heat. And then finally, our Garden Grove Community Foundation concert series is well underway. We have a concert this week, the 27th, on Main Street, the Smoke and Cobras. It's going to be a wonderful family event, so please grab your chairs and come down to Main Street and enjoy a concert provided by the Community Foundation. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. One, I know there was a meeting in my district, I think on Thursday, regarding a HUD community meeting at Buena Clinton. If I could get someone from staff to give me an update on the outcome of that meeting. I wasn't able to attend, but I'm very curious. We want to wish everyone a happy 4th. Please be safe, and if you can avoid using fireworks, please do. And I want to wish Council Baby Penelope Peñalosa a happy 6 months.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Just an update on the Navigation Center. We are 3 weeks into opening our Central Cities Navigation Center, and I'm pleased to report that we have sheltered 5 individuals and 5 pets, and it's been a learning journey for staff to support our service provider, and we are on our way to filling our navigation center, so I just wanted to give you an update on that. And I know I've received direction from the council to provide periodic updates from departments. You've just recently heard from Chief Alfaro relating to crime prevention highlights, and so our next highlight, I'll be working with Deputy Director Sam Kim to bring an update relating to pavement, our infrastructure, and some alley updates, so that'll be coming. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney.
Nothing from me. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk? No. Okay. I have 2 quick things. So one that last week I actually went to the AAPI event in behalf of our city. It was amazing event. Throughout the day, there was of course a lot of leader, elected official from, of course, the AAPI, also Hispanic and African American were there too, and they spoke. The one thing that really impressed you is that everybody was there. A lot of them were the first, whatever that is, that they pushed through the ceiling to be there. And so one thing that I took back and I want to pass it on to our city staff, they have some of the amazing program for youth to encourage them for leadership program, and those are, they give a scholarship and things like that. So I will pass it on to Lisa, and maybe we could pass around for everyone to get information. The second thing is about the graduation. So our council member came here right after the graduation from our city. We have more than 40 graduates. And so I just want to, of course, in behalf of our city, wish them the best. But also we hope that they're gonna bring their talent, their skill, and their experience to come back and do the great thing for our city. So that way we will have a better place to live and a better place that they could cherish for the rest of their life. I think that's it. Happy July 4, and so let's see the following. We're gonna adjourn the meeting, right? To the next regular meeting on July 9 at 6:30. Thank you so much.